Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. You're watching Newsroom. I'm your host, Khalid. But today is the 8th of July 2021, and these are the stories that we will be discussing during the course of the show. We'll begin with the importance of today, and that is, of course, the martyrdom anniversary of Burhan Wani 2016. This Kashmiri young leader was martyred by the Indian forces, and of course since then, before then and even after then, especially since the abrogation of Articles 370 and 35A, the barbarities and the human rights abuses in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir have continued unabated. In the latest spate, four more Kashmiri youth have been martyred in the so-called search operations in Pulwama as well as in Kulgam, and police have arrested a Hurriyat leader, Mushtaqul Islam from Srinagar as well. This is going to be our leading segment of the day. Our second segment, ladies and gentlemen, concerns the plight of Afghan students as far as India is concerned. A lot of Afghan nationals have migrated to India, like they migrated to Pakistan, but unlike the way they have been treated in a very a respectable and positive manner in Pakistan and in India, the way they have been treated is not the same. Whether they are being denied their rights, their basic rights, whether it be the right to get proper amenities, whether it be the right to get a proper job or others, there are different issues that the Afghan migrants who are presently in India are facing. Then, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be talking about the integrity and the act of honesty by of course, an officer of Gilgit Baltistan, the Serena Hotel employee, Jauhar Ali, who's an employee of Gilgit Serena Hotel, who found the money amounting to 1,120,000 rupees, that is 11,20,000 rupees in a room while he was doing his routine work. And of course, he informed his officer without any hesitation and without any delay, and the guest was contacted and came and collected the money. Let's come to our first segment, ladies and gentlemen, and right now, and that concerns today's importance. Today is the 8th of July, and in 2016, today was the day when the young Kashmiri youth leader Burhan Wani was martyred. More in the following report.
Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir on Thursday observes a complete shutdown to mark the 5th death anniversary of freedom fighter Burhan Wani. The death of 21-year-old Wani in a gun battle with Indian forces on July 8, 2016 sparked indigenous popular uprisings in Kashmir. Since then, the besieged valley has seen relentless explosion of protests against Indian rule. Wani came to prominence after his frequent use of social media, a modus operandi that was never adopted by local resistance movements or their leaders in Kashmir. In order to quell anti-India protests throughout the occupied valley, the brutal repression of Indian state machinery reared its ugly head again. In a ruthless so-called search operation, the police in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir arrested Hurriyat leader Mushtaqul Islam from Srinagar. 4 Kashmiri youth also embraced martyrdom during this cold-blooded police raid in Pulwama and Kulgam district. Kashmiris have relaunched a non-violent freedom movement since 2016 after death of Burhan Wani amid arrests, custodial deaths, and relentless military operations. They have indeed paid a heavy price for many decades to get their story across the world. According to a report released by the research section of Kashmir Media Service, out of 1,425 martyred, 124 were killed in fake encounters, and at least 29,656 people were critically injured due to use of brute force, including firing of bullets, pellets, and tear gas shell on peaceful demonstrators and mourners. Public anger and defiance has reached levels never seen in Kashmir before. Indian unilateral designs in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir tend to dangerously imperil regional peace and security of South Asia.
Now, to talk more about this, we've been joined by Dr. Asif Dar. Thank you very much, Dr. Saab, to have joined us. Sir, how do you view the importance of this day since 2016, because the barbarities by the Indian forces on the people of Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir have not abated? And B, what is the way forward as far as the youth of Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir is concerned, and the example that was set forward by the martyrdom of Burhan Wani?
Thank you very much for inviting me here. The most important thing that was it was the dramatic change on that day, 8th of July 2016. I, what we are missing here is that Burhan Wani is not an individual anymore. Burhan Wani is an ideology. It and all of us should understand that ideologies don't get killed. At that point of time, it was Umar Abdullah, the puppet chief minister, the puppet ex-chief minister of government of India, who actually declared that you have made a martyr out of Burhan Wani and he will be more dangerous from his grave than he was living. And actually, from this date, the things have totally changed in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. This is a very important phase of the whole armed struggle. Before the emergence of Wani in Kashmir diaspora, it looked like that the armed struggle was somehow dying down. But with this emergence, this young man, 20 years old, challenged the Indian occupation through, especially through his social media and then the clarity of his ideology. He actually is still now on this date, he's shaking the Indian occupation of Kashmir. This day is so important to the Kashmir, to the people of Kashmir, that even without people calling for uprising or anything, the Serena city has shut down, the villages have shut down, and Burhan Wani, if you will see the Kashmir Twitter today, if you will see the Kashmir Facebook today, if you will see the streets of Kashmir today, you will see that it is Burhan Wani every right, left, and center. For
But
regarding the way
speaking of
forward, it
social
has been.
media, Dr. Saab, speaking of social media, there have been a lot of curbs put on by the Indian government on these very social media that you're talking about. Don't you feel it's a curb on the freedom of expression? There is already a curb on the freedom of expression, whereas the points of views of the people of Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir is concerned, and now there's also a curb on the social media and the way the truth is not being propagated in the right manner. What do you have to say on that, sir?
What India wants in Kashmir is the silence of the graveyard. This is what India wants. They don't, this is the typical last 73 years. The only thing, the brutalities have increased, but this is how there should be no difference in understanding whether Congress or BJP. The Kashmir, they look at through their national prism of national interest. What we need to understand right now is that it's about the curbs. The curbs are on the social media, the curbs are on the streets, the curbs are on the newspapers. What we are missing here are the look at the number of FIRs that have been put against the journalists, the number of journalists that have been jailed post 2005 August 2019. Asif Sultan is still in jail, and the charges, God knows better. The point here, what I'm trying to make is that India is frustrated with the sincerity and the perseverance of the people of Kashmir, that they don't want the truth to come out by any means. But all of us know sooner or later the truth will emerge, and it will emerge victorious. It's only a
All right,
matter of time.
sir, you say that the truth will emerge and the people of the region will emerge victorious. But seeing the way the truth is being curbed, the rights of the people in the region are being curbed, and there is no help even from the important countries across the world, is the resolve of the people of Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, of the youth of the region, still as intact and as strong as it was in 2016?
I think it's more stronger now. It opposed 5th August 2019. The youth of Kashmir are far, far more stronger than before 2016 or 2019. With every passing day, there's a full commitment of the people of Kashmir that we will take it to the logical end. The logical end is the right to self determination and end of Indian occupation. Let me assure everyone who is watching me here, to the people of Pakistan, that every till the last breath, till the last breath says last, uh, we are not going to budge to any tactics, whether it's going to jails, whether it's being killed, whether our people are being pelleted, whether the social media is being curbed. The India has to leave Kashmir today, tomorrow, day after. It's only a matter of time, and no Kashmiri is going to compromise on this.
The spate of extrajudicial killings, Dr. Asif Dar Saab, whether it be that of Burhan Wani or a continuation of those killings that has continued to date. Of late, we've heard of 4 more Kashmiri youth killed during so-called search operations in Pulwama and Kulgam. How can this be stopped? What measures need to be taken for this to end?
To be honest, if we are expecting the conscience of the Indians to wake up and challenge their government, we are living in a fool's paradise. I am telling this time and again, India by no means, unless the people, the international community does not come forward, they do not take the front stage and talk to India directly that whatever is happening in Kashmir is total gross human rights violation. There is a full-blown policy right now going on in Kashmir. It is catch and kill. Uh, just few days back, they caught one guy, Zakir Naik, from the road. He was going to play cricket. He was then labeled as militant. Then later, a few days, again, couple of months back, they got 3 Kashmiri youths. They were killed in cold. That was a cold-blooded murder. I mean, till the world does not stand to this atrocity. It's a Nazi culture. It's a fascist culture in India, which they are implementing in Kashmir to the full. Till the world does not respond it, I don't think the Indian conscience is going to do it.
All right.
And
Thank you very much, Dr. Asif Dar Saab, to have joined us, Kashmiri youth leader, and to have talked to us about the importance of this day in 2016 was the extrajudicial killing and martyrdom of Burhan Wani, the 20-year-old young man. And since then, the resolve of the youth of Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, of the people of that region, has only become stronger for their right to self-determination. Thank you very much, sir, to have joined us. Our second segment, ladies and gentlemen, also concerns India and the plight of the Afghan refugees or the migrants that are currently present in India. More in the following report.
The harrowing predictions of internecine war in Afghanistan are proving accurate as the country descends into uncertainty with the departure of foreign forces. The question of the refugees fleeing the conflict needs attention. There have been reports of an exodus of Afghan as fighting intensifies. Thus, an influx of refugees into Pakistan seems inevitable. Though Pakistan was not a signatory to UN Convention of Refugees 1951 and 1967 Refugee Protocol, the country still had been a responsible neighbor and hosted over 3 million Afghan refugees for more than 4 decades. All refugees have been treated equally in government hospitals and education institutions in Pakistan. Earlier, at a 2-day summit 2020, jointly organized by United Nations Refugee Agency and UNHCR and the Pakistan government, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres urged the world to step up and match Pakistan's compassion for Afghan refugees. On the other hand, India has never fulfilled its responsibility of looking after Afghan refugees. The ordeal of Afghan refugees and Afghan national students in India has gone further gloomy after passage of Draconian Citizen Amendment Act on December 12, 2019. The Citizenship Amendment Act fast-tracks citizenship of Hindu, Sikh, Buddhist, Jain, Parsi and Christian immigrants from Afghanistan, Pakistan and Bangladesh who arrived in India before 2015. However, it excludes Muslims, a move that is detrimental for Afghan nationals. Thus, Pakistan is their inevitable prime destination for safe refuge. Despite its limited resources and strenuous security challenges, Pakistan has always warmly embraced Afghan refugees, a reality which questions the wisdom of Afghan's government. Despite its limited resources and strenuous security challenges, Pakistan has always warmly embraced Afghan refugees, a reality which questions the wisdom of Afghan government's bonhomie with anti-Muslim India.
Now, of course, the plight of the Afghan refugees in India is something that the Afghan refugees themselves have been talking about to different news agencies, to different reporters, and it is not something new that has been happening in India. In fact, this is something, a plight that they are witnessing, that they are going through since the last couple of years, and there seems to be no respite insight as far as whatever they are going through is concerned. And of course, with the current situation in Afghanistan and how things are developing, they also seem more and more dejected as far as the role of India and the migrants from Afghanistan is concerned. We've been joined by our guest for this very segment. Thank you very much to have joined us. How do you see the treatment of the Afghan immigrants as far as India is concerned?
Thank you very much, Omar. First of all, I would like to pay tribute and salute to Burhan Wani, the martyrdom of Kashmir and the son of the soil. And I think, as all of Pakistanis, we always remember his martyrdom
Of
till
course.
for Kashmiri fight will get their freedom. Yes, this is a very important segment we are doing today. The plight of Afghanis in India and Afghani students, what they are facing is unbelievable. It's unbelievable in the way that there is no other country will do to their, even to their normal international students or to the citizens, while what they are doing to the poor Afghan refugees who have come. I mean, there are very few thousand Afghan refugees in India, but they are suffering badly. They don't get proper food. They don't get any kind of status or citizenship status or living status. On top of it, I would like to remind you that in 2017, the Afghan students urged to Bangalore University to let them study a Pashto as a language, and which is their basic human right, and they were denied that right as well, because this is how India is using, taking Afghan refugees. And India has no sympathy with Afghan public or people. This is the time when people needs to understand that Afghanistan is being used by India for its proxies against Pakistan, for its cunning purposes, for having a terrorism within Pakistan. But as far as the sympathy or any affiliation with Afghanistan is concerned, there is no affiliation of Indian government or Indian public with Afghanis. Rather, they just
But Hamid
use
Saab,
it,
there's a very
Afghanistan, as a
strange,
guinea pig.
there's a very strange paradox here, you know. Hamid Saab, the issue is that despite the fact that Pakistan has always been there for Afghanistan, even now,
Exactly.
the fact that the Afghan Taliban and the US came down and the Afghan Taliban and the Afghan government were on one negotiating table, it was thanks to the efforts of Pakistan. Despite that, the image of Pakistan that is present in Afghanistan
Exactly.
is not the same that the image is present of India within the Afghans.
Yes.
Why is that so?
Umar, that is the classic example of fake and black propaganda. I mean, I'm going to publish my PhD thesis in few months, and one of my research topic is how propaganda influences the public opinion and what is against the facts. And this is what India has done with its allies, that they have made in Afghan people felt like they are more friendly with India, with Afghanis than Pakistanis, while Pakistan have given so much to them. Millions of refugees, we have hosted them as our brothers. And then we have, economically, we have supported Afghanistan, Afghan transit trade and everything. The only reason is the propaganda. And Pakistan has to come and counter that propaganda properly, not only on a government level, but it has to be done through our private organizations level. It has to be done through our intellectuals level. It has to be done through our
Why isn't it being
NGOs
done?
and
Why
other
isn't it being
levels.
done then? What are the reasons behind it not being? Why is the
It is
reason? Why are the Afghans having a certain image of India and another image of Pakistan?
Yeah, the reason is that they have been told that they blame Pakistan for so many things which Pakistan has nothing to do or had nothing to do. Yes, there was some factors where Pakistan needs to come up more positively towards Afghanis, especially to explain them that what Pakistan is doing for them. Unfortunately, our previous governments could not deliver properly in that matter. Unfortunately, public interaction was not enough there, and on top of it, when it is a what do we call a fake propaganda or false propaganda there, then they were Afghanis are classic example of being victim by Indian false propaganda due to that. And let me tell you one more thing. Why Afghanis think that is one of the reason is that they believe that all the the finances or financial aid which India gives them is helping them a lot. No, India's financial aid or whatever they are investing there is having a basic aim to control Afghanistan more so that they can have a proxy and they can have a war against Pakistan, and so that the Pakistan's boundaries or Pakistan's frontier will be like a sandwich from the both east and west side. So this is the time when Pakistan needs to explain to the public of Afghanistan, to the governments of Afghanistan, to the political parties of Afghanistan, to the security forces of Afghanistan, that India has no good intentions for Afghanistan. And that has come up when there was peace talks was going in Doha and other and everywhere. And we could see the panic in Indian administration. We could see the panic in Ajit Doval and security and everywhere, because they don't want the peace in Afghanistan, because the peace in Afghanistan is not in favor of India at all. And now this is what India is doing, is they don't want a peace in Afghanistan. And Pakistan's role to explain the public is very important, because Pakistan needs to change the public perception of Afghanis, that Afghani needs to understand that they are not only our brothers. They speak Pashto, which is our language as well. Then we have a religion common grounds. We have fought against Russia together. So we have so many common things which needs to be explained to the new generations of Afghanis. That is the problem. The new generation, due to modern media, due to Indian media, film industry, and all that influence, they are not understanding the contribution of Pakistan for the stability of Afghanistan.
Thank you very much, Hamid Khan Al-Mashriqi, Analyst, who have talked to us about the plight of the Afghan migrants in India. And despite the fact that Pakistan has always believed in an Afghan-owned and an Afghan-led peace process, and also has been taking care of the millions of Afghan refugees, those who are documented and those who are undocumented, the fact remains that the Afghanis in Afghanistan are being fed with a certain image of India that is totally contrary to what is happening to them in India itself. It is time that the media across the world told the people in Afghanistan the truth. More after this short break. Welcome back. And finally, let's talk about acts of valor, integrity and honesty. Let's talk about two cases. The first, of course, is that of Johar Ali, who works at the Gilgit Serena Hotel, and the second is of a traffic warden. Now, both these people have done acts of honesty and of course integrity that need to be talked about. Let's begin with Johar Ali. Now, Johar Ali works at the Gilgit Serena Hotel. What he did while cleaning one of the rooms in the hotel is that he found a huge sum of money beyond 1 million rupees. In fact, the whole amount was 1,120,000 rupees. Not for even 1 second did he think that he should keep that money for himself. He went straight away to his management and then informed them that he had gotten this money, that he had found this money, and of course he gave them back this money. The person to whom this money belonged to also received that money, and now Mr. Johar Ali is going to be given an award for his achievement, for his honesty, for his integrity as a worker. He says he earns 20,000 rupees per month, and he's very happy and satisfied with this because he earns this money with honesty. The second story, ladies and gentlemen, is that of a traffic warden. This traffic warden also found around 1 million rupees on the road, but for not even for 1 second did this traffic warden think about keeping that money for himself. He gave the money and of course returned it to the concerned to whom it belonged. These examples are very important for our society. Why? Because despite the challenges that our society is confronted with, it is very important to act with honesty and integrity, because at the end of the day, this is what matters. A person who's honest, who has integrity, who works with that and leads his life in that manner will always be remembered. With that, we come to an end of today's newsroom. We'll see you inshallah tomorrow with news segments and stories that matter to you, to us and to Pakistan. Until then, as our Prime Minister has said, Stay safe, follow the SOPs, get yourselves vaccinated. Allah Hafiz.